This is part 2 of a commission series I've been doing. So in part 1, I kind of gave you some tips on how to get commissions, or like how to get people interested in commissioning you for doing artwork. And this part 2 will be more about, once a customer is interested, how do you go from there? How do you stay organised, and like certificates of authenticity and packaging and things like that. So I've got 7 kind of steps here, or 7 tips that I'm going to go through with you, and hopefully you find this useful. So I'm going to get into them now. So tip number 1, I would say, is to always take a deposit. When someone is booking in a commission, you want to take a deposit, whether that be a £20 deposit or a set amount of deposit, or whether you take a percentage. So personally, I take a 50% deposit, and this is basically to rule out the customers who are going to mess you around, because quite often people will inquire about pet portrait and they'll want to book in a slot, but then they never actually go ahead and pay the deposit, and you can kind of tell that, they weren't as serious as maybe you first thought they were going to be. And this kind of just saves you from wasting your time. So the last thing you want to do is spend hours and hours on a drawing, and then it turns out that you finished it and they never reply to your message and they never pay you for the artwork. That is just awful, because you've spent all this time on a piece of artwork for someone and then they don't pay you for your time and your work. So yeah, it's a waste of your time essentially. So my number 1 top tip would definitely be to take a deposit, and you can take this any way that you want. So I always I could accept cash if people want to come and pay the deposit in person, that's absolutely fine. Or I do bank transfer, or I send them an invoice via PayPal. I think you can only do an invoice via PayPal if you've got a business PayPal account, which I do recommend, because I think a lot of people feel more comfortable paying over PayPal rather than bank transfer, because it's more protected on their end. So it kind of just builds a bit more trust with the customer. You do get a small fee taken out. I think it's 3 point something% or something. It's not a huge amount, but yeah, I find that works. So I always take a deposit, and once the customer has paid the deposit, that's when I book in the portrait. The next tip is to give customers a time frame. So always check when the customer needs the portrait by. So if it's a gift, then obviously they'll probably have a deadline of when they need it by, because you don't want to do the portrait for them and then they're expecting it sooner or something. So yeah, this kind of links into my point number 3, is how I organise my diary. I did get asked that when multiple people are messaging at once about portraits, how do you go ahead about organising when you're doing them, or organising your diary and stuff. So what I do is I always do 1 pet portrait per week, unless it's a big double portrait, then I may allow myself 2 weeks to do that piece. It just does depend. Or I could do 2 really small ones in 1 week. It just depends. But as a general rule, I do 1 pet portrait per week. So I've got a planner which has a monthly spread at the start of each month, or you could just use a wall calendar or anything like that. And for each week, I write the customer's name down when I've booked it in, but I don't book it in until they've paid the deposit. So once they've paid the deposit, that's when I officially write it into my diary. So if I have multiple people messaging me at once and they all want to book in for a certain slot, I just do it as a first come, first served basis. So if someone pays the deposit before someone else, they're the one who gets that spot. Yeah, it can be a bit difficult if you've got maybe 4 people messaging you at once, but yeah, I just do whoever pays the deposit first gets the closest spot pretty much. I do have exceptions, is if someone needs it sooner than someone else, I may do it a little bit differently. But yeah, what I do is I just do 1 portrait per week, write it in my diary for that week, write the customer's name, the size and everything that they want, so that I don't double book myself. I don't really like holding a spot for someone temporarily, because sometimes they say they're going to pay the deposit next week, for example, and then they never do. So I don't really like doing that. I might hold a spot for someone for a couple of days or something for them to pay the deposit, but other than that, I tend to just do first come, first served, which I think is pretty fair, because then you just get the people who are most serious about booking in the portrait with you, they get priority because they've paid the deposit. So I also have an Excel spreadsheet on my computer, which I put the customer's name, what they paid for their deposit, and then the customer's name, what they paid for the deposit, what they've got to pay when I finished it, and then also the postage cost as well, just so I can see exactly how much they owe me or how much they've paid without having to go back and check the messages before. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. And also, when you're quoting the customer for a price, make sure you mention any postage costs and things like that, because you don't want to finish the portrait and then you're like, oh, actually, it's an extra £10 for postage, and they might not be expecting that. They might have assumed it was included in the portrait price. For me, I usually charge a £10 postage fee overall, unless it's going to another country, in which case I'll just give them a separate price for postage. Unless they're collecting it from me, then obviously they won't need to pay postage. But yeah, just make sure the customer knows exactly what they're getting and exactly how much they will owe you once the portrait is finished, just so that the customer's not going to have any surprises. They know exactly what they're getting, exactly what they're paying for, exactly how much they're paying, and when they should expect to get the portrait done. Another tip is to show progress photos to the customer as you go along. So what I do is I usually start the portrait, I draw out the rough sketch of the portrait on the paper, and then I usually send that to them and just make sure that they're happy with the composition and happy with the drawing, and then I'll continue as well after that. And then I might send a halfway point progress photo just to make sure that it's going how they are expecting it to and that they're happy with it so far, if they want anything changed or amended. And then at the end I send them another photo, and then I ask them if they want any minor adjustments. And sometimes it would be just adjusting a colour slightly, or I don't know, adding in a few extra whiskers or something. I don't know, there'll be just little things like that. Obviously at the end I can't do any major changes, because there's only so much you can change a piece of artwork once you've done it, unless you've done it in acrylic paint or something. It'd probably be a bit easier, but using coloured pencils or pastels, there's only so much you can change a piece once you've done it. But yeah, I still like to ask them if there's anything that they'd like changed, just so that I can make sure they're completely happy with it. And then once they're completely happy with the portrait, I take the final payment and get it packaged up and whatever. So not tip number 5, but step number 5, whatever, is packaging. So think about how you're going to package it really well, especially if you're sending it. Make sure it's not going to get damaged. Make sure it's wedged between boards or bubble wrapped. Just so that it can't get bent or smashed, especially bent, because that would be awful if your drawing got bent in the mail or something. Don't put it in just a little envelope. I'd put it in between proper boards. So what I do, because I work using pastels, I place the artwork on a board, and then I put some glassine paper on top, which just stops the pastel from smudging. And then I put another board on top of that, tape that together so it's nice and secure, and then I wrap it in tissue paper, and then I'll wrap that in bubble wrap and put it into a cardboard box. And if it is a larger piece that won't fit into the boxes that I have, I'll then just bubble wrap it loads, maybe put a couple more boards on the outside, and then put some parcel paper around it. I just, want to make sure it's got the bubble wrap around it, just in case it gets wet, the package, and the water goes through the package slightly. At least there's that bubble wrap, which is a waterproof layer around the drawing. I think that's a good idea, just in case. And I would also recommend sending portraits tracked or signed for. I'd say tracked is better. I usually send mine via Royal Mail special delivery, which is 24-hour service, and it's completely tracked. And also if it went lost or something, they will compensate for some of the value, so that's good. And also when I'm packaging the portrait, I also include a few things with the portrait in a little envelope. I include a certificate of authenticity, which has on it the name of the artwork, which I usually just put the pet's name, the size of the artwork, the materials that I used, and then I sign it, and I've also put the date I signed it and the date that I completed the artwork on there as well. I also include a little art care guide, which is just advises the customer on how to care for the artwork, so at least if they don't care for it properly, that's not my problem. I've told them how to take care of it properly, how to display it, how to protect it and things. So then it's their responsibility, but I have given them some advice on that. And I also put in the package a few business cards or a little leaflet or something, so they can give them on to friends or family. And then my final thing that I'm gonna give you as a tip today is don't post a photo of the portrait on social media until it's been gifted or the customer have said that's okay, because if they're giving it as a gift, obviously you don't want to ruin the surprise. If the people it's being gifted to is also following your page, they might be like, oh, hang on, that's my pet, and you don't want to ruin the surprise for anybody. So I usually always check if the portrait is a gift or not, and if it's not a gift, fine, you can just post it whenever, but you don't want to post it on social media if it is a gift and it hasn't been given to them yet. So I always just double check just to be safe, because you don't want to upset anybody. That's pretty much all the tips that I have today. If you have any other questions, or if there's anything else you'd like me to speak about, let me know in the comments below, and I will do a part 3 to this video, or another video on a completely different topic if that is something else that you want to see. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I will be sure to answer them. I hope you found the video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!